Hello. Welcome back to my pretty non-existent channel as of late. You may have noticed I took a little bit of a break. I actually thought I was leaving YouTube completely, to be honest, just for the same reason as always, life stuff. But now that things are starting to get back on track, everything is getting back in order in my personal and health life, I realised that I really miss making videos, and I also really miss interacting with you guys. So we are taking a tentative step back into YouTube today. And I thought I'd start with a reading vlog. It is currently Thursday the 25th of May when I'm starting this vlog, and May has been a weird reading month for me. The first week or so I was smashing through my reading. I thought this was going to be like one of the best reading months ever, and then I slumped hard and I have not really read much since. So I'm really hoping in the last few days of May that I can get quite a few books read to bring my total for the month up a bit more, and also just because I am now coming out of my slump and I'm really excited about reading again, so I'm hoping I can pick up quite a few things. I'm kind of in one of those moods where I want to read everything, so choosing one book has been a little bit overwhelming. I'm currently in the middle of a few things. I have really been enjoying my hot girl walks recently. Now that my health is getting back up to scratch, I am enjoying getting more active and trying to get more physically fit again. So my main form of exercise at the minute is a walk every day. I'm trying to hit my 10k steps each day, and I found this lovely route nearby. Literally just leave the flat and I can walk along the street, come to this beautiful park. I also go past this beautiful canal with all these old buildings, and it has been so good for my physical and mental health. And while I'm on those walks, I have been listening to my audiobook. I've been listening to an audiobook. The walk itself takes about an hour and a half, and because I listen to my audiobooks on 2x speed, it means I get about 3 hours of reading done every time I go on one of these walks, which is pretty amazing. On these walks though, I have been really struggling to find a good audiobook that grips me. I think this week I have started like 4 different audiobooks and just none of them really hit this spot. I found myself zoning out and not really listening to the story because I just wasn't interested. But last night I started a new audiobook that I am really enjoying, and that is The Therapist by B.A. Paris. All of my thriller girlies on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok talk about this one, say that it's a really good thriller. I think it's a lot of people's like favourite thriller. I know people really like B.A. Paris. I've not actually read anything by B.A. Paris before, but like I said, I've listened to like 3 hours of this one on my walk yesterday. I am 26% of the way through just in that one sitting, and I am definitely hooked. It is a psychological thriller, which you guys know is my favourite kind of thriller, and I love listening to audiobooks for thrillers. I feel like it just makes it even more intense if the narrator is good, if they do a good job, if they get the pacing right. It could just be such an immersive experience. I will be on my walk literally not even noticing people around me because I'm so immersed in this book. So this one started in a therapist's office. I'm pretty sure we didn't get the therapist's name or the patient they're seeing, but it's literally just like a little prologue from the past where the therapist invites in this woman. They start to have a little chat. I think it's the woman's first session, and not really much came of it. It was just like a little starter for 10, and then we go into the present and we're following Alice, who has just moved to the Circle, which is this little gated community in London, I believe. I think there's only like 12 houses. She moves in with her boyfriend to this community. She is getting to know all the people in the community. Some people are a little standoffish with her and she's not really sure why, and she hosts a party to get to know all the neighbours, and one of the neighbours she speaks to is Tim, but a couple of days later she meets the real Tim and she finds out that that was not her neighbour at all, but actually some imposter who doesn't even live in the Circle, which starts off a whole whirlwind of questions. We then find out that a woman called Nina, who was a therapist, lived in this house before they moved in, and something pretty gruesome happened in this house, and Leo knew about it but he did not tell Alice. So as you can imagine, she is not best pleased. That is all I have got to so far. She's just like found out this revelation about this house that she's living in and what has happened there previously. So she kind of understands why some of the neighbours have been a little bit off with her, because it seemed like she wasn't really acknowledging what has happened before, but really she just actually had no clue. I I'm assuming Nina, the therapist who lived in this house before, is the Nina that we have seen in the past. We also got another little shot of her just as I was finishing listening last night. Again, she was talking to the same woman, the same client. So I'm assuming there's going to be some sort of significance about this client, but I have no idea what yet. And I'm thinking maybe we'll see more of the past now that we know who Nina was and the fact that she lived in this house that Alice is now living in. She was friends with all these people that Alice is getting to know. I am going to assume that this horrible thing that happened, no one really knows the truth about, and maybe Alice is going to get to the bottom of that. Really, I have absolutely zero theories at the moment. I have no clue what's going on, but I am definitely intrigued to find out. In terms of my physical reading, again, I have started a couple of things. I did start an ebook last week, I believe, which is Tragic Bonds by J. Bree. This is the 5th book in the Bonds That Tie series, I believe, which is a romantasy series that I have been absolutely obsessed with. As soon as I finished book 4, I immediately started book 3 that night and read like a chapter because I could not believe the end of book 4. But then after that chapter that night, even though it was amazing and I really want to know more, I haven't really picked it up since. Not really sure why that is, because I know as soon as I go back into it, I will race through it just like I have all the other books. But for some reason, it's just not been grabbing me recently. I think maybe just in the last week though, I have been slumping, like I said, so potentially that's all it is. I will definitely be picking this one up, hopefully finishing it before the end of May. And I have also started The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake, but again, I've read 26 pages of this so far, so I can't really give any firm thoughts on this. All I know about this one is that we have these 6 magicians who are like the world's best young magicians who are invited by Atlas, I believe, Atlas Blakely, to enter into this sort of competition type thing where they all like hone their powers and the top 5 will survive and the 6th one will not. That's pretty much all I know about this so far, but I'm really intrigued to read it. I've heard such amazing things about this book and the 2nd book and all of Olivia Blake's writing in general, to be honest. I have 3 of her books now and I've not read any of them, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna love them, so I would really like to make some good progress with this one this week. I am also tempted to read some manga. I read the 1st volume of Spy Family a few weeks ago and I absolutely loved it, so I might pick up like another 1 or 2 volumes of that. I do realise what I'm saying right now is highly ambitious considering I've not really read much for the last like 2 weeks, but a girl can hope. Anyway, right now I'm actually on my lunch, so I will be getting back to work very soon, but as I said, my plan after work is to go on my hot girl walk and listen to The Therapist by B.A. Paris, hopefully get another 25% of that done, which is crazy. I will have my phone on me, so I will try and get some cute footage of the canal and the park so you can see how stunning it is. It is such a beautiful day today, so I'm really hoping the sun is going to hold out until I go on my walk, but I will of course update you on my reading later. So I don't really have much of a reading update at all for you guys. Obviously last night, it's now Friday evening, I was supposed to go for my walk and listen to my audiobook, which I did, but because it was such a lovely night, my boyfriend actually ended up coming with me so we could spend this nice sunny evening together, which, you know, it's all well and good, like wanting to spend time with me, yeah, but you are kind of eating into my reading time. No, I'm joking. It was lovely, it was really nice. We had such a nice little bit of quality time together walking along the canal, which you guys will have seen, but because of that I have literally done 0 reading since I last spoke to you. I was planning on going on my walk again this evening as soon as I finish work and therefore getting a bit of reading done, getting my 3 hours of my audiobook listened to, But my period just started this morning and the cramps are intense, so it's not a walk-in kind of day. Instead, what I am going to do is curl up in my lovely little bookish room and get some reading done. I'm really craving that feeling of finishing a book. I feel like it's been a while since I last actually finished a book and I miss the sense of achievement. So I'm thinking I'll start with maybe a volume or two of manga just to like get that feeling. Whenever I get that feeling, it always spurs me on to read more as well. So I feel like I should do that, and then I can pick up one of my bigger reads. I think I'll probably pick up the Atlas 6 because I do feel like once I get into that one I will read it pretty quickly, and I'm just always hearing such amazing things about it. I need to know what all the hype is about. So I think I'll start with volume 2 of Spy Family, see how I feel after that. I might go on to volume 3 or I might move on to the Atlas 6. So I have been reading for a little while and I've managed to finish volume 2 and volume 3 of Spy Family, and I absolutely love these. I gave them both 4 out of 5 stars. I am obsessed with this manga series. It is just so good. We basically follow Twilight, this master spy, whose newest mission at the start of the series is to infiltrate this school, like this academy called Eden Academy, where his target's son goes. And his target is like heavily involved in this school. So in order to do that, he has to get a fake daughter who he gets from this like really shabby orphanage, and he's trying to get her into the school. And then in order to get her admitted, because it's like this really prestigious school, he realizes that he's going to need a wife as well. So he finds himself a fake wife too. And it just so happens that the fake daughter is a telepath, so she can read people's minds, and the fake wife is an assassin. But he doesn't know this about either of them. And obviously the child, Anya, is the only one who knows the other two's secrets because she can read their minds. And it's honestly just so much fun. Like, I really love the dynamic between the three of them when they're at home and when they're trying to go for this mission. Like, Twilight himself is kind of like this grumpy spy who doesn't really have time for anyone, and he doesn't really usually let anyone into his life, and he's not supposed to be letting emotions into this mission either, but there's some emotion getting in there. Anya is my favourite character. She is so funny, she's so cute, and she just wants to do good and like help her fake mama and fake papa all the time, because she'll like read their minds and then try and work out how she can help. And in order for them to like get further in this mission, she knows that she has to get 8 stella, which are like these stars that you're awarded through the academy for like good grades or exceptional achievements and things like that. So she's trying really hard to get these stars because then she'll become an imperial scholar, and like I think that means the family would then be a lot more heavily involved in the school. They get close to the target, all that jazz. So she's like working so hard to get these stars, and it's just so cute. I'm also loving just watching that happen. Like, all of the school scenes are so funny. There's a boy in her classes who is the target's son, who she's supposed to befriend, but he hates her and like treats her really badly and is really horrible to her. But he also he also has a soft spot for her and he's trying to hide that at the minute and not accept that himself. Very much like little boys pull the little girl's hair if they like them, that sort of vibe. Yor, the wife, is amazing as well. She's such a badass. She's this assassin, and whenever we see her scenes of her like doing her thing, I love her. She's so much fun. This is her here on this cover. There's one character who I really don't like, which is Yor's brother Yuri, and he is a member of like the Secret Service who are supposed to find the spies and like eradicate them. I mean, they do a lot more than that, but basically he's not gonna like Twilight if he finds out that he's a spy. But he's just a bit of a dick, and like the way he is with Yor, their brother-sister dynamic is really strange. Like when he was little, he said that he would marry her when he grew up, and it's like he's almost not quite grown out of that, and he's like jealous of the fact that she has a husband, and it's all just a bit weird. So I don't really like the little bits that we've had of him. I've kind of just been like ignoring those scenes and enjoying the other scenes. But yeah, they're just so much fun. I cannot wait to continue with this series. I'm actually really tempted to pick up more now because I've got 4, 5 and 6 on my shelf there that I could read, and it'd be so easy to just like fly through them tonight. But then I kind of like to sort of space out my mangas, especially for times like tonight where I feel like I just want to bash out a couple of books before I go on to like a longer read. So I think I'm gonna put these down just now, and I'm gonna see if I can make some progress with the Atlas 6. I think I already said I'm only on page 27 of this. I don't think it's too long though. Like I always think hardbacks seem like they're massive, but there's actually not that many pages. Like I think there's like 360-ish pages, which is a pretty good page count for a fantasy. And I'm not like properly into this one yet because I've only read like 25 pages. I feel like once I do really get into the story, like get past the 50 to 100 page mark, I will just race through it. I could just be wishful thinking, but from what I've heard, I do really think I'm gonna like this one. So yeah, I think I'm gonna settle down just now and see if I can make some progress with this one. Saturday. I am back with another little reading update. It's a bit of a changeable day in Glasgow today, but it is nice and warm. So I decided to take a walk into town, went to one of my favourite coffee shops and got myself a little iced almond milk latte, and I made quite a bit of progress on the Atlas 6. I am now on page 115. I've just started part 4, which is called Space, and I am obsessed. Like I am getting major 5-star feels with this book, and I have not got 5-star feels this early on in a book for a little while now, so it feels amazing to be getting that vibe. I already said once I got into this I wouldn't want to stop, and that's exactly how I feel. I can't stop reading it. I absolutely love the writing style in this. Olivia Blake's writing is amazing. It's so beautiful and descriptive, but also really funny and quirky. Even the dialogue is amazing. Like it's making me laugh, and I just think it's really witty and smart. Like there was a bit, even just like this little bit of dialogue between 2 characters. It said, "If I believed you capable of sincerity, I would recommend you turn and run," he said. "Unfortunately, I think you have every weapon necessary to win this game." So it is a game then. Finally something she could use. "It is a game," he confirmed, "but I'm afraid you miscalculated. I am not a useful piece." I don't know what it is about that. I just think that's so well written, and there's so many little bits like that that I just think bits of dialogue between characters are like a game, like a little game of chess themselves. I just think it's really intelligently written. We are basically following these 6 characters, as I said. instead, who we're introduced to each of them individually as Atlas Blakely visits them and tells them that they have been chosen to enter the Alexandrian society, and over the course of the year they will like hone their powers, they'll study, they'll research, and by the end of the year 5 of them will join the society properly. So we're introduced to them each individually as he visits them and as he tells them that they are one of these 6 chosen people throughout the world, like if out of everyone, all the magical people, because we have magical people and mortal people in this world, and each person has a different form of magic, apart from 2 who are both physicists, but I feel like their specialities within that will be slightly different, and each character just has such an individual personality. I feel like sometimes when you read books like this, it can take a while to get to know each character, because sometimes there's like blurred lines between which character is which, and maybe it's not that easy to distinguish them. But the writing in this is so good that you immediately know who is who, and they've got such 3-dimensional personalities, like they feel like real people. Each of them has a really interesting backstory, each one's power, each one's magic is really interesting. I absolutely love the magic system in this book. We just had our first like battle scene kind of thing, their first sort of test as a group of 6, because they have been told that though they have their own power individually and they need to prove themselves, they also need to work together, and none of them really trust each other. I think a lot of them were thinking, no, like I'm just gonna prove myself, I don't need to work with these guys. But then they had their first sort of test, their first sort of like battle scene, and realised they do kind of have to work together, and it was really interesting to see how they did and like how their magics can complement each other. Honestly, I'm obsessed, absolutely obsessed with this book. Also the 2 physicists, Libby and Nico, they have like a bit of an enemies to lovers vibe going on, which I cannot wait to see how that continues. When we were like getting introduced to each of the characters, my favourite was Parisha, because she's just such a badass. Like she's a bit of a bitch, I'm not gonna lie. Like I feel like she's probably supposed to be unlikable, but I kind of like that. She is a badass, she is all out for herself, she's bisexual, she is sexy and sultry, and she can read minds and really uses that to her own advantage. I just think she's such an interesting character. She might start to annoy me a lot more as we go on, as I like get more invested in the other characters if she continues to act in selfish ways, but at the minute I just think she's such a cool, strong, sexy character. So yeah, officially obsessed. I also love how at the beginning of each section in the Fairy Loot edition we have these gorgeous illustrations of the different characters. Spent a good amount of my time just staring at those, I'm not gonna lie. I also on my way down listened to my audiobook, and where did I get up to? I'm now 42% of the way through The Therapist, so listening to it on 2 times speed I've got like just less than 3 hours left, and I am still really enjoying this one. There's a lot more sort of like coming to light about the neighbours, about Alice herself, her past, and also her partner, and you basically feel like she can't trust anyone, not even her partner. And I feel like there's a possibility I have a theory, and I can't decide if the theory is one that I am purposely being pushed towards so that I can then be proven wrong, or if I am actually right and I've gotten it really early. Right now it could be either of those. If I have figured it out early, I'm gonna be really annoyed because I feel like it was really obvious, but for that reason I feel like maybe the author's doing it on purpose and making me think I've got it when I've not. We shall see. I'm hoping to finish both of these over the course of the weekend. I'm probably not going to do any more reading tonight because my boyfriend and I are going to order a takeaway, play some games, play some Switch. I think tomorrow we're planning on going on a nice long walk, but I am hoping to get quite a lot of reading done tomorrow evening, and also Monday is a bank holiday here, so I'm hoping to have like a good cozy reading day on Monday and get quite a lot of reading done because I've got a really busy week ahead. So it'd be great if on Monday I could literally just chill out and read. So fingers crossed I could get both of those finished over the course of the weekend, maybe even slip in something else, maybe another volume of manga. I'm not quite sure yet. All I know is I'm absolutely loving my reading at the moment. I'm in such a reading mood again, which is making me so happy. I also just have to quickly show you because I got my May Fairy Loot, YA Fairy Loot box. I'm not going to show you like all the items and everything, but I do just have to show you the book for this month because it is freaking stunning and I am so excited to read it. It is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, and can we just, with these edges, like, I'm so obsessed. This is stunning, obviously amazing character artwork on the end papers. We've got foiling on the dust jacket, which I don't know if you could see. It's stunning and I've heard such amazing things about this one. The blurb says, when two rival journalists find love through a magical connection, their fate depends on their facing the depths of hell together. After centuries of sleep, the gods are warring again. All 18-year-old Iris Winnow wants to do is hold her family together. With her brother forced to fight on behalf of the gods, now missing from the front line, and a mother drowning her sorrows, Iris's best bet is winning the columnist promotion at the Oath Gazette. When Iris's letters to her brother fall into the wrong hands, those of the handsome but cold Roman Kit, her rival at the paper, an unlikely magical connection forms. Expelled into the middle of a mystical war, typewriters in tow, can their bond withstand the fight for the fate of mankind, and most importantly, love. An epic enemies to lovers fantasy novel filled with hope and heartbreak and the unparalleled power of love. Quite a few of my friends read the arc for this one and all gave it 5 stars. Like, people have been absolutely hyping this one up left, right and centre, so I cannot wait to read it. I may pick it up pretty soon, to be honest. I'm obviously going to finish Atlas 6 and then I feel like I'm probably going to want to go straight onto the Atlas Paradox after that. But I may pick this one up for my next physical read afterwards because I feel like it'll be quite a quick read and I hope I'm going to love it. It sounds right up my street. But yeah, that is it for this little update for now. As I said, I'm just gonna have a nice chilled evening. We're gonna order a takeaway soon. I think we're gonna get like maki and ramen, which I have never got before, but I'm really excited to try it out. Hi guys, happy Sunday. I have had the loveliest day so far. We had a little bit of a lie-in because we were up late last night playing our games, and we've got a bit of a new little like Sunday morning ritual at the minute where we take a walk along the canal to this really nice little area of Glasgow where there's a lot of little independent coffee shops. So we walked on there, picked up a coffee from a new coffee shop that we've not tried yet, which was amazing, and then walked back along with our coffees just to start the day off. And it's like a 6-mile walk altogether there and back, so it's like the perfect length to like get my steps in the morning and then spend the rest of my Sunday just chilling out. So when we got back we watched Formula 1, and since then I have just been reading the Atlas 6, so I'm now halfway through this one. Still very much obsessed. I am in awe of Olivia Blake's writing, honestly. Like, the magic system in this is so interesting and so different, and she writes it so well because it's a very detailed and intricate magic system, and the writing is very detailed, it's very complex, and yet somehow the way she writes it makes it really understandable and really accessible as well. Like, there's these really detailed paragraphs about how there's like gaps in these bits of magic and how things weave together and how time and space work. And I would have thought that that would just go right over my head, but for some reason the way that Olivia Blake writes it just makes it really understandable. I love that it's such high stakes in this book as well. Like, the whole thing just feels very like dangerous and sinister, and there are some alliances being made now within the 6 of them, and it almost gives me like Hunger Games vibes but like a lot more adult, and they're trying to decide who they can trust. And then some of the characters are very like manipulative and calculating in trying to form these alliances and who they're gonna trust, who they're gonna use for their own ends. Because each chapter is from a different character's point of view, it's good to get into the minds of all of them and see who's using who we can actually trust, particularly between Callum and Parisa. Like, the way they're playing a game in this, like, obviously it is like a very deadly game, but the way they're playing it, it is very calculated and they're definitely out for their own ends above anyone else. I really enjoy the difference between like physical and mental magic, because 3 of them are like do physical magic, so they can like manipulate space or gravity, or one of them is plants, she's a naturalist, and then the other 3, it's all like mental magic, so reading someone's mind, reading someone's emotions, being able to manipulate someone's emotions and get them to do what you want or act how you want. And I'm loving seeing the differences between those 2 types of magic and how they work, and also how they all have their own like feelings about each type of magic. Like, it's very much, there's a divide between the physicists and the other guys, and the way that Libby can manipulate gravity and space is so cool. Like, she put Nico to bed because he's like done too much magic. Like, he could have killed himself because he was trying to like do too much, and he just like could barely walk because he was so exhausted and like in pain. And she basically put him to bed, like moved them so that they were in a different room, and then manipulated gravity so that the bed was like tilted and underneath him, and then manipulated it back so he just fell into the bed. And Honestly, reading that was so cool, and it also kind of reminded me of Inception, when there's the bit where like the layers have like different levels of gravity because of reasons that I'm not going to go into right now, because we could basically have like a whole discussion on how Inception works. But it reminded me of that scene, and like Joseph Gordon-Levitt walking over all the walls trying to like get people into the elevator and stuff. If you've seen that film, you will know what I'm talking about. Anyone else is probably just like, but yeah, entirely obsessed with this one. Still very much giving 5-star vibes. I am hoping to read a lot more of it today, make some really good progress. Ideally, I would love to finish this one, but I'm not entirely sure how realistic that is. Now Monday. As you can probably tell, I'm still in my jammies. I've literally just like chopped my hair back, and you could probably with this see my absolutely ridiculous tan lines. I did not realise when I went on like these big walks last weekend that my new medication I'm on makes my skin really sensitive to the sun. Who knew? So I burned pretty badly, and now it's just turned into like the world's most like awful tan, but it's fine. I'm here to update you because I have now finished the Atlas 6, and holy crap, this is a new favourite of all time. Like literally top 3 maybe, I don't even know, but I am absolutely obsessed with this book. It was freaking perfect. I loved everything about it. The writing is just absolutely incredible. Like I don't know how Olivia Blake does it. Her writing is so intelligent and detailed, but yet so accessible and just beautiful, to be perfectly honest. It had not clicked to me that they didn't know that one of them had to die. So when I left you at the halfway point, they were just figuring that out. And it hadn't clicked to me, like I'm so dumb. It hadn't clicked to me that they didn't realise that. They just knew one of them would be eliminated. They didn't know what eliminated meant. So yeah, there's that. We looked more into the mental side of magic. So like the last time I updated you, I was always obviously talking about how cool the physical side was. Mental side, just as freaking cool. Also reminded me of Inception because they were on like different astral planes and like going inside people's subconscious and stuff. So like this whole thing gave me like Inception vibes. Inception is one of my favourite films of all time. So is it any wonder I love this book? I absolutely love like the theme in this of like knowledge is carnage. It's written on the front how this Alexandrian society have these archives full of all this information that they say they're holding on to because it's dangerous for like just anyone to have all this information about the world and how the world works. But then there's also like the Forum and other societies who say that that's really elitist and everyone should have access to this information. I think that whole idea is just like so interesting, the way that's woven throughout. I love how she explores sexuality in this in all its different forms, in terms of like who's attracted to who, what gender they're attracted to, and also in terms of women's sexuality and the power in that, and you know, like looking at the word slut sort of thing, and sexual freedom. Just everything to do with sexuality is just so well done in this. I absolutely loved it. There is a chapter in this that, if you've read it, it's a chapter where it's like this almost like battle of the minds between Callum and Parisa, and honestly I think that is one of the best chapters I've ever read in any book ever. I was obsessed, and the end of the chapter I was literally like gobsmacked in awe of what I just read. I might actually have to just go back and read that chapter because it was just so freaking cool. Yeah, if it's not completely clear Obsessed. 5 stars, one of my new favourite books of all time. I can't quite get over how much I love this. Like, I knew I was gonna love it, but I had no idea I was gonna love it quite this much. So I don't think it's any surprise that I'm gonna go straight on to the Atlas Paradox after this. Probably not in this vlog. I think I'll maybe start like tomorrow or later in the week because I do have a really busy week this week. But I need to know what happens next because the ending of that book, I don't think I'm ever getting over it. So yeah, this one will definitely be getting read very soon so that I can get up to date with the series before the Atlas Complex comes out, I think. Is it out? I don't think it's out. But the plan for the rest of the day is to hopefully finish off my audiobook of The Therapist. I did realise that my phone is ready to upgrade. So I think what I'm going to do is get myself ready, walk into town, listen to my audiobook while doing so, and go to Carphone Warehouse and have a little look at this upgrade and see what the sitch is, because it'd be really cool if I could get an upgrade today. I don't know how I missed that. It literally was available to upgrade like yesterday and I had no idea. So yeah, that will give me like, it's what, like 40-minute walk into town, 40-minute walk back, plus if I do any sort of like walking around in town. And I think I've got about 3 hours left of the audiobook on 2 times speed, so really there's like 6 hours. So basically I need to get 3 hours of reading in today, which should be doable. It'd be really great if I could finish that book today and then I will have finished 4 books in this vlog. That's the goal. But right now I'm gonna get myself ready and head into town. Alright you guys, I am back to wrap up this vlog. I did walk into town. That was a little bit of a fail because when I got into town and got into the shopping centre, it hit me that Carphone Warehouse is no longer its own store and they only work out of Currys, and the Carphone Warehouse that I thought was in town is no longer in town. So we did not get an upgrade today. We will deal with that next weekend. We'll go to the Currys because there's none in town. They're all at like retail parks on the outskirts, so we'll deal with that another day. It's fine. At least I got a nice walk in the sun out of it. I did listen to a good bit of The Therapist and then I've been back for quite a while now. I've had dinner and I was doing a little bit of journaling, which I'm hoping to get back into. I was really enjoying myself there. So I was doing a bit of journaling while I finished off The Therapist by B.A. Paris, and I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 stars, I think. I really enjoyed it. I think it was a really good thriller. It definitely kept me guessing right up until the end. The theory that I had was completely wrong, so I'm so glad that it was all completely turned on its head and I was nowhere near guessing what on earth was going on in that book. Like, I feel like I had some inklings towards a few things, but the general like big picture of like who done it and why and how everything was connected, no. Like, nowhere near. The way that it was all wrapped up at the end, I love. It was a really good, like, fast-paced ending. It all made sense. Everything was tied together lovely. It was just, the main thing for me was the main character was a little bit annoying. Like, some of the decisions that she made were just a little bit stupid, a little bit dumb, and the way that she trusted certain characters and the way that her feelings progressed and the speed at which they progressed for certain characters, it was just a little bit unreal, like a little bit unbelievable. Like, maybe it is believable, maybe some people are like that, but it wasn't likable. I don't know. Basically, there's something about the main character that just threw me off a little bit. But overall, 4 out of 5 stars, definitely a good thriller, and I'm glad I've read my first B.A. Paris. I definitely think I'll read more by B.A. Paris because I did really enjoy the writing and obviously the plot overall. So I am going to end off this reading vlog here. I've had such a good productive weekend in terms of reading. In terms of a little wrap up, obviously I did read 2 volumes of Spy Family. I read volume 2 and volume 3. Absolutely loved these, gave them both 4 out of 5 stars. This is my new favourite manga series at the moment and I cannot wait to continue with it. Like I said, I've got 3 more volumes on my shelves, and I think as soon as I finish them, which I will very soon, I'll need to get the next 3. I think there's 9 out at the moment. I then of course read the Atlas, if I could not hit myself in the face. I then of course read the Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake and gave it 5 out of 5 stars, a new all-time favourite book. When I started this vlog I had absolutely no idea I would be saying those words, but I am so happy I finally read this. Absolutely adored this. The writing, the magic system, it was just everything I wanted from a fantasy read really, and I'm so invested in these characters, so invested in this story, so I cannot wait to move on to the Atlas Paradox probably within the next few days because I need to know what happens next. The ending was intense. And then obviously, as I just said, I finished The Therapist by B.A. Paris. So altogether I finished 4 books in this vlog over the course of that weekend, so I am very, very happy indeed. I think that means I've now read 11 books in May, which is not too bad for me. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty happy with that. Maybe I can sneak in another one just before the month ends, I don't know. Like I said, I am super busy over the next few days, but 11 books is pretty darn good. So that will conclude this vlog. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope you're happy to see this tentative return to YouTube. I've had so much fun vlogging over the last few days and I just can't wait to start the next one now. If you made it to the end of this video, then pop the dagger emoji down below, just because that's what I'm seeing on the Atlas 6. It's giving me Atlas 6 vibes. To commemorate the fact that this is one of my new favourite books of all time, pop the dagger down below in the comments just to let me know that you made it to the end of the video and that you enjoyed your time here. But as always, if you did enjoy the video, please do give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe for more bookish content from me. Comment down below with any of your thoughts and feelings. I do reply to every single comment. I love you all and I will see you in my next one.